Hello, boys and girls. Today we are doing wine tumblers. Now, I know you guys wanted this before, and I ended up doing wine glasses, but I had to get that order done and out, so I didn't have time for that. But this one, I'm in a rush again because we've got a lot. I'll pan over there in a minute. But I did one. I did my setup already. I'll go over the setup with you, but I don't want to tear it down because it's right where I want it. Steve, just look up here so you don't have to look down my nose. Yeah, nobody wants to look up my nose. Alright, so I'll go over the setup with you. We'll watch it engrave. I'll fast forward it, and we'll make this a pretty quick video. So let me turn you around here. I've got the Stone Tree gentlemen have ordered 3 more cases. If you've been following along, we did 3 cases before. We did just like 2 weeks ago. Wasn't even that long. We did a red case, a blue case, and a mixed case, which is JDS calls it their sample case, which is 1 of every color, 17 total. They sold all those within like a few days, and they still have a little bit of blue and red left. Not a whole lot, but they've got some. So they decided, rather than guessing what color is going to sell and what isn't, let's just buy more sample cases. So that's where we are. They bought 3 more sample cases. Probably going to be doing a minimum of 1 of those a month. 1 of those orders of 3. And possibly 2 to 3 orders of 3. So we're going to be putting this little xTool to work. But I got a surprise. So I've been working on it. I'm tired. It's going to show in the video. I'm sorry, but I've been doing a lot of work, getting a lot of jobs, and working toward a big surprise. Some of you already know about, some don't. So we made some good progress today on that. So when that happens, we're definitely going to do a video on that. So let me turn you around and show you what we're doing. That's the computer. All right. You'll notice I cleaned up a little. Yeah, that's clean. The server's gone. The server is now over there, which soon that will be in the data center. And we won't have to worry about that anymore. But here's what we're doing. 12-ounce stemless polar camel tumblers. These are from JDS. If you don't have a business set up, you can't order from them. So if you really want to order from these, let me know and I can hook you up because I resell their stuff. And I keep the margins real good for you guys. I don't mark them up. You go on Amazon and you'll buy them for like 20 bucks. So I'll sell them to you cheap so you can still make some money. Take a little sticker out. Take the lid off. Now we got a cup. We have 50 something of them over there in a stack. So we got to do all those before Saturday. We can do it. Alright, so here's our setup. Let me set you guys here and wrap you around the bar. Maybe. We know how fun this part is. One day I'll get a good camera. Maybe. Maybe. Alright, that might work. So, here we have our low light situation. Now we have a lot of light. Alright. So if you'll notice, over here I've got my 1 by 1/4 inch piece of oak. I put that under the xTool on the back of the rotary, the Ra2 Pro, because it's going to level out my cup, and I'll show you that in a minute. But you'll see I've got these little black markings. I marked these last time. So today when I did my setup, guys, you know, last time on my wine video, y'all remember that. It was crazy. But when I first set this up, it took a little while. But now that it's set up, I put the oak under here. I line it up with these lines here. I don't know if you can see my finger. Probably not. Let's see. There we go. I line it up with these lines I drew here, these corner lines here, and there's lines back here. So I line this all up. Since the back end is lifted out of my jig a little bit, see, I can move this way, and that's going to be bad. So I push it this way to make sure this is flush against the front. That will return me back to square. I already know that's square because that's how I cut it. So you see I screwed up the back piece, and now I got to fix that. Yay me. It was set where I wanted it. Alright, the things I do for you guys. So, we push it to the front, make sure it's good, and now I'm going to reset the back, and I got to hold the flashlight in my mouth, so hold on a minute. I can't hold it in my mouth. I put it here. I put it in my thumb, and put it that way. Like that, and like that. I put it. I put it on that way. Alright, so if you're a dentist, you'll understand everything I just said. So, I made sure it was flush against the front. Now it's back to square. My lines are all good, so I'm happy. I set the focus earlier already. I'm not going to touch with that. But what I will show you is when you bring the focus needle down, probably can't see it, so I'm just going to lay it down and we're going to pretend, right? Let's pretend this is your focus needle. So when the focus needle comes down, once you've actually got, we're going to pretend this is level. We know it's not, but let's pretend it is. So once you have it level, you should be able to move the laser head back and forth, and it shouldn't drag or hit. It might drag a little bit. It shouldn't hit any extra edges. So I'll show you that when I get it on there. But what I also did today was once I touched the cup, normally these things put a little weight on there and they'll put some pressure on it, and then when you pull the leg up, you'll hear it scratch a little bit. So that's telling me, you know, it's too much. So just like with the leather, I didn't go up 1/8 inch like with the leather, but I did pull it up a little bit, just a hair. I just eyeballed it, because once you do this shit 1,000 times, you're going to be able to start eyeballing things. So those of you that are brand new, don't worry about it. Just keep measuring, doing what you're doing, but after a while, you're going to be able to eyeball things. So I let it touch, I raised it up a bit. Now I just did one, and I'll show you in a minute, and I cleaned it off, and it wiped right off, so that's pretty cool. So I think raising it up that tiny bit helped, and it's probably about a metal business card width up. So I don't know what that number is, but it's not touching, but it's really close to touching. So let's get it in here. I'll put it back in my mouth. But we'll have to light. Well, just so you guys know, you'll come up with little tweaks for yourself too. Here's what I do when I put a cup in. I'm always keeping constant pressure back here, because we know I'm not in my jig all the way, so any movement will send this sliding back, and I got to reset everything. So when I'm keeping pressure here, usually it's on these two fingers, they're pushing down, and these ones are going to work the stuff. These fingers are usually pushing down here. So I've always got, now not always, but most of the time, I've always got pressure down and that way while I'm doing the cup. So it's a give and take, a yin and yang, whatever analogy y'all want to use, but you've got to find what works for you. You don't just slam the cup in and then it's going to throw your shit all off and you got to redo it again. So always put pressure on your device when you're putting the cup in. And then always watch, always watch through in here for the gaps to make sure there's no light, so that you know your cup is flush against the front. So right here, my hand is actually resting on the thing while I'm using my finger, so it's holding it in place. These three fingers are holding this down in place. Alright, sometimes I over tighten it, but that's just me. Whatever, they're rubber, I don't care. So, while I was doing that, when I was holding it down and I was spinning it, I was checking to look to make sure this edge is flush against that, so there's no daylight in between any of that nonsense, right? And I like to start my engrave right here in the middle. Now, I decided off the first one, I'm going to move it up about 2 millimeters. And I'll show you why when I get the cup out in a minute. Sorry, I got a cold. So I'm gonna go ahead and remeasure and get that going. So right here I had it at 5. Typically I do 5 millimeters from the top. Sometimes, excuse me, 10. Sometimes I'll do 20 on the big cups, but on these little ones I found that I come down 5 and it comes right to the edge of the bulbous area at the bottom. So now I'm going to go up 5. I know I said 2.5 earlier, but I meant half a 10, which is 5. So I'm going to go up 5 millimeters. Right there. It's going to be a little closer to the lip than I want, but I had to add in the city state on the bottom of their logo, so it took up more room, and I just think it'll look better up here more. It'll look more center. So we got that. It's going to come down right here to the edge. This is where the bulbous area starts and the flat area stops. I didn't show you, but all this made the whole thing level. So the bubble is level. If I move the laser out of the way, that's level there too. So the little bubble they give you is actually pretty cool. I like it. The whole thing is level. So I just got lucky between the width of the jig board that I use and the 1/4 inch oak piece. It just made it perfectly level. You're going to have to shim whatever you got underneath it and try to do it the same way every time, and you're going to have the same results. So the next time these guys order something, it's going to look exactly the same, even though I've already tore it down and put it all together. So I didn't show you the kickstand, but the kickstand is not touching. It's like a metal business card thickness away. It's not touching it, so who cares? That'll work. Let me show you this cup that I did real quick. Alright, so we done did this one, and she's nice and pretty. But what they added this time was, it's really hard to see because it's little. I don't know if the camera's going to focus on it or not. So down here, their location is in Unity, Maine. So I added that on there, and it threw it off a little bit. And so I'm just going to move it up because that's right on the cusp of the thing. So I think it'll just do better moving it up 5 millimeters. So we'll start here. Give a little breathing room down there, and no one's going to notice that one cup out of 50 is 5 millimeters off. So I think this will be better now that they've added this little area on the bottom. So we're just going to check it out when we're done. So I'm going to press play. We're going to watch it. I'll edit it the video later and fast forward this part. And some of you guys really like watching it Engrave, so I'll let you do that. And then we'll go to the high-speed cleaning area, the kids' bathroom, and we'll clean it up, and I'll show you. Now watch, because I said this, and it's a blue cup, it won't wipe right off. But that first cup I showed you wiped right off with the toothbrush. I didn't have to do any extra shit on it. So we'll see if this one's going to do it too. We'll see. Let me get you zoomed in over here a little bit. Oh, shit. Man, I gotta double check my square in a minute. I moved the damn laser when I was trying to move that thing. Alright. Alright, so everything's good. It's where it's supposed to be. Cool. Look at that. Perfect timing. Alright. So, now that's done, we're going to take it off and go to the bathroom and clean it. But I wanted to go over one thing real quick. That little time saver. Now, a lot of this stuff people might think, geez, duh, I already know that. I'm not stupid. But not everybody thinks of the same things. So, we're going to take it off and give her a spin. And when you take it off, make sure you don't wiggle her, and reset your whole thing. And then you got to set it all up again. So you always want to be cognizant of that. Take it off, give her a look-see, and it looks like it'll come right off. So, we'll do that. Now, before you go, put another one in. That's my tip of the day. All too often, I'm running, I gotta do 50 of them, right? It only makes sense to start one, because I'll go in there and I'll clean it off, I'll inspect it, I'll take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then I'll go in the bathroom, or I'll go get me a snack. Next thing you know, I realize, oh shit, I forgot to put the next job in. So, get in the habit, every time you take one off, go ahead and put one on. That way, when you go do your cleaning and all that, these things only take 7 minutes, I think. The clock said 7 minutes anyway. I don't know what real time is, but they only take like 7 minutes to do. So you can literally go clean it, come back, and it'll be done. If you have to do a decent clean job on it, if it doesn't just wipe right off. So always put your second piece in if you're doing the batch job. Give her a spin, take a look. She's good. Center it in the forks. Make sure she didn't move, which she did. So there, now she's square again. Alright, and we're good. Frame job just to make sure. One of the tricks, guys, I'll tell you another trick. Excuse me. If you've made it this far, you're obviously interested. So, sometimes you might notice that after you're done, I don't have an example to show you, but after you're done, you'll have a line in there, like where it just straight up skipped, like it missed a tooth or something, right? It'll be a very thin line, but it's still going to be a straight line all the way down your design of powder coating that did not get lasered off. And you're like, what in the shit is going on? I think I found a resolution. I'll have to sample. I'll get some of my test cups and see. But if you notice, I move this around a lot, right? So who's to say when I stop moving it that it's right where it needs to be? It may not be in the proper tooth alignment. So I think by moving this around and then I just go hit start, it starts off in the wrong thing, and then it finally catches itself, and when it catches itself, it bumps ahead that line. That's a guess. I realized that yesterday, because I had a couple of the growlers I was doing that had lines in it, and it really pissed me off. And then I realized, I was touching those a lot. So anytime now I touch it, I always frame it. Even if I don't need to frame it, I'll frame it, because sometimes if you really listen, when you frame it, you'll hear it kind of clunk and then go. I think that's it catching where it's supposed to be. And ever since I've been making sure to frame it after touching it before I start my job, if I've touched it, I haven't had those lines. So it's not enough evidence yet to say that's what it is, but I think there's enough anecdotal evidence to say that's what it is. So now that I touched it again, let's frame it. There we go. So she should all be lined up again. And I will see you in the bathroom. Alright, here we are back in the high-speed area, known as the bathroom. Now, if you really want to get your cups clean, here's what you need. Now, get a pen and paper, because you may not remember this, but this is super duper high quality information. You need a sink. I think y'all got a sink. You need some running water, a toothbrush, I would recommend you use an old toothbrush or one that you don't plan to brush your teeth with again, because this would be really damn disgusting. And some kind of little scrubby, not scrubby, I don't use that, but a little sponge to clean awesome off with. And get some of this. It's cheap. You can buy it on the internet, go on Amazon, go to Family Dollar, go to Dollar Tree, go to Walmart. Everywhere has LA's Totally Awesome now. Comes in a big bottle and you dilute it in this little bottle. And this stuff works way better than any. I had some of the expensive shit. This stuff works way better than any of that stuff. Alright? So that's it. You probably detected my sarcasm. You don't need nothing special to clean these things, guys. Just cheap ass LA Awesome degreaser, a toothbrush. Oh, and I keep a magic eraser on hand too, because sometimes you see there's some blue on there. Sometimes you have to go at it if you don't have your settings right, or the machine just decides for the moment that it hates you, because sometimes it will. Sometimes it'll look up and go, you know what? Not today, asshole. So, spray that on there. Now I'm doing this so y'all can see I'm not cheating. All I did was spray it on there. Now we're just going to rub it. I also found I don't rub this way because the brushed stainless steel grain goes this way. And I've actually found sometimes if you scrub it real hard, sorry, I'm sick. If you scrub it real hard this way, you can, oh shit, there we go. If you scrub it too hard vertically, you can damage. You'll scratch it. Believe it or not, you'll put scratches in it, even with a damn toothbrush, especially with a magic eraser or a green scrubby. And then your finished product looks like crap. And you don't want that. So scrub with the grain of the brushed stainless steel. All these little things matter, especially if you're trying to do this stuff as a business, or you know, if you give it to your friend, they may not give a shit. But if you give it to a customer who's paid for it, especially a lot of them, they're going to care. So, I like the toothbrush because it gets all in the little tiny areas. And after you do that, just wash it. Put some more dish soap. I just use regular old Dawn dish soap because I don't like to just water rinse when I've had a product on there. I want to make sure it's nice and clean for my people. So get all that Totally Awesome off of there and any other residue. Tell you, when you do like a whole case of these, or 3 cases or 5 cases, you get old lady hands pretty quick. If you're any old ladies out there watching, no offense, I love your hands, they're awesome. Alright, so we get that rinsed out, put the ladybug down the drain. She's pretty, guys, and that's a blue cup, okay? So don't listen to everybody on the internet and all their stupid ass ideas and reasons. Blue doesn't have to be bad. It can be bad. Blue, purple, light pink, dark pink, maroon, those colors can suck. Doesn't matter what brand it is, Arctic, Yeti, Polar Camel, doesn't matter. Those colors can really suck. It's because of the diode laser that we use. So, you just got to find the right setting. And I know that's a shitty answer, but it's going to be different for everybody. I promise you. I'm going to tell you what my settings are. They're 3300 speed. That's millimeters per minute. 75 power. All my other cups I do 70 power, except for my trouble cups. I added 5%. And I've noticed it coming out a little bit cleaner since I lifted up the focus off the cup, like I told you guys about at the beginning. So those 2 things enable me to get this perfect shiny finish that I don't have to hit with the magic eraser, because it's all taken care of. So there you go. Let's turn this around. There we are. Is that a face that would make it for national television? I don't think so. Who's that hillbilly ass punk from Maine making cups? It's a scary guy. Alright, so there you go. Nice pretty clean cup. Done and done. It don't get any easier than that, guys. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I set that whole rig up, it took a little while. But now that it's set up, and I have a notebook, I didn't show it to you. Maybe I'll show it to you next time when I do some more leather. But I have a notebook on my desk there, on my workbench, with notes of everything I've done. Eventually it gets stored in your brain and you just remember it when you do it a couple hundred times. But take notes so I know what settings to use. I know what circumference to use. I didn't go over that. I should go over that with you guys next time. So next time we do a tumbler video, I'll talk to you about circumference and how I do it when you have a circle logo. So that'll be a teaser for the next video. Circle logos or circle images. I do not expand the image to make it look like shit. Okay, there's a better way to do it. What I feel is a better way to do it. I fuck around with the circumference and I measure. You know, weird, measure. If my image is supposed to be 50 millimeters wide, when I laser it, it's gonna be 50 millimeters wide. If it don't look like a circle, then I've got the circumference wrong. So anyway, we'll go over that on the next video. But for now, wine tumbler's done, and we'll catch you guys later. Don't forget to, I gotta be a YouTube star, right? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay. Take it easy, guys.